The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie show on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Free Kicks. So, we're just chatting, the two of us, and Adam just casually mentions that he's been in Vegas, and tell everybody what you saw in Vegas.
Yeah, so I got a call from Brad Pitt, and he said, it was, my wife is a massive U2 fan, and when we heard that U2 was going to be doing some type of a residency at the new Sphere, I'm sure people have seen it, the big round circle there in Vegas, she said, we got to go. So I said, okay, we're going. And we experienced that a few weeks ago, and my goodness, what an amazing show. My neck hurts because there was so many things going on, so many things to see. We were really pretty close. We were only about eight people deep away from Bono, because that's my wife wants to get as close as possible, and fantastic experience. So yeah. Nothing like standing in the same spot for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
That was fun.
How are your legs?
But my legs, it's doing a number on my back. But it was well worth it. What an amazing show. And the good news is they just extended it again, which was great for my wife because she's decided that she's going to go again with some of her sisters. So,
wow, she is a fan.
She is amazing. Yes, absolutely.
Well, that's great.
But great experience.
Well, I am a fan of the Premier League, as are you, and that's why we do this show. This song called "With or Without You," which we did on the Joshua Tree album. We're gonna do a show about soccer, and it starts right now.
And now, Free Kicks. Free Kicks with Illinois Youth Soccer Association's Director of Coaching, Adam Howarth, and Rick Kemper.
Coming to you for Where the Streets Have No Name. Right now. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about something right off the top here, because this news came across during the Premier League games this weekend. Yeah. And it's big news in England. I don't think a lot of people in America understand quite how important this man was, but Sir Bobby Charlton passed away over the weekend. Tell everybody about who he was and why he meant so much to English football. Yeah,
obviously very sad. 86 years old. He died over the weekend. Sir Bobby Charlton, as he was known, basically, really regarded as probably one of the best players England has ever produced. And that could be said by the fact that he led his team to the European Cup, because he played for Manchester United for all of his life. Also to many league championships, as well as surviving a horrific air crash that actually killed quite a few members of his team back in the early 50s, and they rebounded to be able to do it. That was the group called the Busby Babes, and then came back, and then in 1966, I don't know if you heard this, England won the World Cup then, and he was on that team.
I was reading the obituary, and there was an asterisk after that sentence.
Oh, right, exactly.
All right, carry on.
So, but he was just an absolute legend. His brother, Jackie Charlton, who died recently, a few years ago, was also on that same team. Jackie Charlton was actually the manager of the Republic of Ireland the last time the USA hosted the World Cup. So you can probably remember that. But, Bobby Charlton is probably regarded as probably one of the people that probably was most instrumental in kind of growing the game even more than what it is, in terms of the amount of passion, and on top of it, he was a fantastic player.
That's the one thing he had mentioned. I think he scored 200-some goals.
Exactly.
Not bad.
And until recently, until Wayne Rooney and now Mr. Harry Kane was the leading all-time scorer in the England national team with close to 50 goals, 49, I believe it was. I think Harry Kane's got 60 now, so he just surpassed Wayne Rooney. But that gives you an idea of how long and how much of an impact he had on the national team. So, that was tough news, but everybody knew of him growing up in England, and it was definitely a sad day.
So even though he was a Manchester United player, you still respected him?
Absolutely. Yeah, just because of who he was and what he achieved. You don't become a sir for not doing anything over the course. And, when you have a stand at Manchester United named after you,
I know.
You know you've hit it, So, yeah, absolutely. It's that's kind of gives you an idea of how much he was beloved by the Man United fans as well as the England supporters too.
Okay. Well, that's a sad day for England, but they did carry on the pitch, and let's talk about that.
Premier League football. What's happening on the pitch?
So I don't know if you've been paying attention this year and you looked at the table. I'm still in shock at this, and you may be too. Tottenham Spurs, number 1. They have now beaten Liverpool and Manchester United. They managed draws with Arsenal and Brentford. They have not lost a game all year. Their next 3 games are against mid-table teams. You've got Crystal Palace, the Wolves, and Chelsea. Are they this season's Arsenal? Or is this just a complete mirage? I mean, the coach, Ange, it seems to have them going in the right direction. You've got Son playing fantastic. He's got 7 goals in the 9 games. James Maddison has 3 goals and 5 assists in the first 9 games. Is it possible? I mean, is this the time? Could it really happen?
Rick, let me just tell you this.
Wait a minute. He's getting his hose out. Yeah.
It's Tottenham Hotspur. They've never won anything.
Yeah.
I'm excited for them. I'm happy. I shouldn't say excited. I'm happy for them that they're off to a decent start. But again, there's a lot of buts, right? We've got 9 games. They've won 7. Congratulations. You're off to a good start. I always I think of this as, the guy who in the marathon who sprints out at the front and is like in the lead at the beginning. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the pack starts coming close.
The
Kenyan guy running. Yeah, exactly. He's the guy that didn't get the memo. Okay, I'm just going to sprint 26 miles. But I don't know. It's so hard to say. I mean, they're playing great. There's no question. Don't want to take anything away with what they're doing. They're beating the teams that they need to beat, and they're being consistent. I mean, it took a little longer against Fulham on this past weekend, but they got the result. Son is playing great, and obviously Ange has got them organized, and they're all happy to be playing for him. So, and considering they lost their best player, that's what makes it even more remarkable.
I know.
I think let's reevaluate maybe another 9 games, and then we'll see how they're doing halfway through the season. Christmas time is always a good telling time, and if they're still on top, then they're for real. But until then, they're still, as you mentioned, they're still Spursy.
Okay. Well, I mean, you did say the same thing about Arsenal last season. Maybe not quite with the same vitriol that you've unloaded on the poor Tottenham fans. But, we didn't believe last year with Arsenal either, because they had been coming off a few years of mediocrity.
Yep, and they were there until the end, and then they threw it away.
That's a good point. In the end, they didn't win it.
What do they say? The cream rises to the top, so we'll see. We'll see where the cream is. And I think that the current cream is around about 10th place, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Well, let's talk about those guys, because they played against Arsenal this past weekend. I watched the entire game. And... It ended up as a draw. but it kind of felt like a loss for Chelsea, didn't it?
No question. Obviously, Arsenal's unbeaten as well, off to a good start. Yep. But probably for 75 minutes, the best Chelsea have played all season.
Yeah.
Certainly, they were in control of the game. Maybe not necessarily from a possession standpoint, but certainly had chances. Were looking like
both goals a little questionable, though. Let's be honest.
Yeah, the penalty kick, when it hits your hand in the that's typically a penalty. The second goal, Mudryk is starting to come into his own a little bit now, which is great. I definitely credit Pochettino there for what he's doing with him. Was it a cross, a shot?
It was definitely a cross.
I don't know, Rick. I thought he looked up a little ahead of time.
I do not think so.
Completely. Hey, that's fine.
It's still a goal. It still counts. It got in the net.
Exactly. He scored. So, and that was the thing. And 2-0 comfortable. But then again, and I'm going to go on not a little rant, but maybe. Just want to quote a few things here. Have you ever noticed in the Premier League that the goalkeepers that struggle the most are all from Spain? I don't know what it is, but it's like...
Are we talking about that terrible pass that led to Arsenal's first goal? Declan Rice just kind of nicked a pass, trying to play it out of the back. What a big fan I am of that. And put in the goal. Brought him back into the game, and then at that point, didn't you know?
Yes,
I knew immediately.
Yeah, the game, it's all about momentum, as we always talk about. 2-0's the worst. It's the worst lead to have. As soon as a goal goes in, you knew they're going to score it again, and they could have probably won the game, and that would have been even worse.
I know,
but again, those mistakes by goalkeepers. And you can probably say that for most of the teams within the league, it's like that has such a huge impact. It's about decisions. It's about that execution. It's about making the right decision at the right moment. And obviously Sanchez, and he's definitely been prone to that over the last few games. He makes some great saves.
Yeah.
He's he reminds me of De Gea. It's the same. He's the same goalkeeper. He makes great saves and then makes a mistake. I don't know if I can live with that, Rick. It's going to be tough. I don't know how I can do it.
And you hold your breath every time the ball gets kicked back to him.
Exactly. I just want a Brazilian goalie because those guys are pretty darn good.
Yes, they are.
Or Ramsdale. I'll take Arsenal's backup because he can't get a game. So who knows?
But, by the way, why isn't he starting?
It's a great question. That's been a big discussion. Obviously, Arteta came out and said that, it's still a competition and that he hasn't necessarily said that this is a player that he wants or
he had such a great year last year.
I know.
He's done nothing to lose the job as far as I can tell.
Yeah. It's been definitely tough for Ramsdale. Now Ramsdale was not actually even at the game on the weekend. I don't know if you saw that. You heard about that because his wife just had a baby. I think they were I don't know if it was happening right during the game, but he was actually on leave with his wife because they were expecting, I think it was their second child. So he was not even at the game. Yeah. Perfectly fine. But yeah, if he's not getting a game, I think that might be a player that would be looking to maybe move on potentially at Christmas time, at the start of the new window in January. So because he is, England's basically number 2 behind Pickford, and he needs to play.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's talk about Luton Town because I think you're probably getting a little nervous now. You predicted they would have the worst season in Premier League history. I believe you predicted they would have less than 10 points. They just nicked a point against Nottingham Forest. Now they have 5 points, and it's not even Christmas yet. You got to be a little nervous about your prediction.
No, I feel pretty confident about it. Again, they're scoring in the 92nd minute here. It's just, very, very lucky at the end. Obviously, that was a game I thought Nottingham Forest would clearly win.
Yeah.
But again, this is a team that's near the bottom. So if you're struggling to get points against teams near the bottom, how are you going to do that against everybody else? So, yeah,
right.
I mean, I think they've gotten a couple of points there. It's good. I mean, no question, they're definitely doing better than the bottom three. But
not much.
Again, not much. They got 5.
Yeah.
Sheffield United is in a lot worse shape with 1, but I actually see more out of Sheffield United than I do out of Luton at times. So I'm still going to stick with it. I think if they get to double points, I will be surprised.
All right, let me ask you about something else, because I've been noticing this the last few weeks. I've been watching games. It seems like there are more red cards this year than in any season that I can remember. This last weekend alone, there were 4. Yeah. Everton had 1, Bournemouth, Burnley, Man City. Are they too quick with the red, or have they changed the way they're refereeing to emphasize more red cards, or is it just a coincidence?
It's a great question. I'm not exactly sure if it's a coincidence. I think the referees are definitely being a little tighter on certain situations as to why they're giving reds. I'm going back to the Everton red card. That was 2 clear fouls, right? So
yeah, that's true.
I think that's what's happening in games. And I think, I could almost put it on the players as well, because some of the things that the players are doing,
right? Just when you're on a yellow,
yeah, exactly. And I think that's part of the problem. So many players get on a yellow early, and I think that I see a lot of in the transition a player being dragged back or held. Yeah, that's an automatic yellow, right? And then all of a sudden,
and it's so obvious. That the uniform is moving.
Exactly. Exactly. So anytime that happens in a game, you're going to get called for it. And I think I'm seeing more of that. And I think that's partly because the players are outmaneuvering the other team. So that's probably a good thing from an attacking standpoint. But then it also changes the game with that player now obviously under a little bit of pressure with the yellow. So it could be interesting statistic. We'll have to follow it through the season to see what happens, but if there are going to be more red cards. But I'm seeing more players being pulled back on dragged back because of these transition moments.
Okay. Free Kicks is brought to you by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association.
Illinois Youth Soccer has been proudly serving the Illinois soccer community since 1975 and has a strong history of credibility. Illinois Youth Soccer is a non-profit corporation, charter member of the U.S. Soccer Federation, administers U.S. Soccer Federation coaching programs, U.S. Soccer Federation the Olympic Development Program, and U.S. Soccer Federation referee programs. For more information, go to illinoisyouthsoccer.org.
Okay, time for your favorite part of the show.
Time now to guess the Premier League star.
So we had fun with a youngster last week.
Yep.
And so I've chosen another youngster for this week. In fact, he's even younger. He's 21 years old.
Interesting.
Which is 4 months older than my youngest son, basically. But,
yeah.
He is, his father is of Kittian descent. Do you know what that means?
St. Kitts?
St. Kitts. That's where I went for my honeymoon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We got kicked out of a casino. It's a long story, but I'll tell you about it some other time.
That sounds like another show.
But anyway, even though his father is of Kittian descent, he's a good English lad.
Okay.
All right. Now he wears number 20. I've noticed that a lot of these guys that want to be number 10s, if they can't get number 10, they ask for 20. Do you think that's true? Just double number idea. 10?
Possibly.
Okay. So he's a forward.
Okay.
All right. Who is it? All right. His first name, all right, is a jolly old soul. But he's not old, and he's not a king.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, well, that's kind of giving it away a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Now, and he obviously scored a big goal this weekend.
He did.
It was a penalty kick, which was an interesting one because there was Sterling wanted to take it. I don't know if you saw that, and there was a little bit of a confrontation.
Well, one of my clues is, for some reason, this kid takes all the penalty kicks.
Well, there you go. There you go. And it's funny because I was thinking you might pick him, actually, and I was like, I didn't realize he was actually... I didn't realize he was 21, so I thought he was actually younger than that. So that's interesting. And obviously he's played for all the England teams and been through that. So the answer would be Mr. Cole Palmer.
That's right.
Of Chelsea.
His last name was 1/3 of the band who created Carnival Number 9, Emerson, Lake, and Palmer.
Palmer, yes.
So there you go. And you cannot go to Vegas and see a residency of Emerson, Lake, and Palmer because 2 of them are dead. So that would not be a good show.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't be a good show. No, absolutely not.
But let me ask you about this Cole Palmer guy. Where the heck did he come from?
Well, Manchester City. He was with the academy. And this is an interesting one because from Manchester City to let him go, that's quite a big deal. I mean, he really hadn't played very much for Manchester City. I think he'd only played less than 20 games. But Chelsea, they spend a little bit of money here and there.
Yeah.
$40 million for a player.
$1 billion.
Exactly. They spent $40 million on a young player. And I'll be honest with you, he is doing better than I thought he would do. I thought it would take him a little longer in the beginning. But he seems to be a big part of the setup. He seems to be a first-teamer already. He was one of the top players in the European Championships recently. So I think he's definitely a player that's going to be certainly an impact not only for Chelsea but for England in the future.
Yeah.
So
I like the way he plays. He's a take charge kind of kid.
Yes, exactly. And he's already scored a couple of goals now for Chelsea, which is great. And 6 games, 2 goals. That's a pretty good start.
Not bad. All right, time for this favorite feature.
Now time for Adam's Weekend Soccer TV Tip.
It's my favorite feature because I'm too lazy.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy to look up what games are where and when they're on, and so I kind of count on you for that.
There's this thing called an app. You can actually put it on your phone.
Yeah, no, but
it's crazy.
I decided to host a podcast instead.
Oh, okay.
And create an entire show so that I could get tips at the end of it for what games to watch or what matches. What matches to watch.
That's a great idea. And if anybody isn't listening or doesn't have the ability to use an app on their phone, this would be the best thing for them to do.
Exactly.
So,
I'm sure I'm not the only one out there.
Yeah, not if you don't have a smartphone. If you don't have a smartphone, this is you have to listen to our podcast. So, there's going to be some good ones, but I think there's only going to be one game that we have to watch, and it's going to be a derby. It's on Sunday, 29th of October, day after my youngest son's birthday. Manchester United versus Manchester City. It's going to be
the Manchester derby.
Gotta love it. At Old Trafford. I believe this is going to be on Peacock, so make sure you got your subscription and be ready to go. 10:30 kickoff, so it's perfectly fine for you. So that's going to be great. So this is the game to watch. A lot of kind of interesting games setups this week, but that one just jumps out at you.
That's
right
always
away.
a good one. Although I've been watching Manchester United, they barely beat Sheffield United this past weekend and didn't look very good. And Manchester City, they're just toying with people. They may not be the top of the table yet, but don't we all know that's where it's going to end up at the end of the season?
I think so. I think they put themselves under a little bit, but they're just kind of like, let's see if we can give these teams a little bit of a lead and see if I can catch them up. It's like, again, it's the Kenyan runner. They're out in front. Let's see how far we can do it. Last year we gave them 8 points.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can do a few more. Let's try and stretch it out. But yeah, it just seems like they're just kind of vying for that position to jump forward. But yeah, they're such a strong team.
But there is something about right. There is something about Old Trafford too, when they play in that stadium. So we'll see.
Totally agree. It's going to be a great game. Manchester United need to be up for it. Could go either way. It's like you said, it's a derby. Anything can happen. So it should be a good one to watch.
By the way, did you know that Arsenal was on a 16-game unbeaten streak in London derbies?
Really?
Yeah.
Should have been ended. That's the thing.
I know. All right. So that's the only game you're going to give us? There's no
I think so. I mean, all the others, like I said, I think all the other ones are pretty good, average, but that's definitely the one that you got to watch. I mean, you can watch an Aston Villa team that's playing very well. I mean, they knocked off West Ham, so I just picked up Douglas Luiz on my fantasy team, so he's playing extremely well.
I watched that game. They didn't just knock him off; they crushed him. And Aston Villa is looking quite good. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say.
Exactly. Unai Emery has done a fantastic job from where they was at, near the bottom of the table, to bring them all the way up. So definitely a contender for a top 6 for sure.
Okay, well, this Free Kicks program is brought to you by Green White Soccer Club. Green White is currently putting together their high school teams. If you're a high school boys player and you're looking for a club, check out Mustafa Edders at greenwhitesoccer.org. He's the guy that runs the program. All right, so we have people to thank. We need to thank our executive producer, Tony Lasana, with opishows.com. Opie is hippo backwards. We should thank Ed Silla with Radio Misfits. Great Talk Radio, Adam, you know this. Great Talk Radio's not dead. It just moved to a better place.
That's right.
And that's at radiomisfits.com. And we'll be back again next week with a brand new episode of Free Kicks.
The preceding was a presentation of Opie Productions. Find our other great shows wherever you find podcasts, including opishows.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?